So, someone had given it to me. Okay.
Yes. Ms. K.
Yeah, we got a form. Everybody ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay, all right. Good evening to each of you. We call our open session board meeting for our 2016 Board of Education. We call it to order now at 7:01 p.m. I would ask that our board members will review our agenda for the evening. Let us know if there are any modifications or anything that needs to be put on our agenda for the evening. Okay, thank you. We need to add the field trips to our consent agenda, the 21st century field trips. That would be number three, number B on our consent agenda. B, 8B, Roman number 3. Any other additions? All right, hearing none, motion will be in order to approve our open session meeting with the added addition to our consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the additions. Not to the agenda. Second.
Motion has been moved and properly second that we approve our agenda for tonight with the addition of 8B, Roman number 3, 21st century field trips. Heard that motion that has been properly seconded. Is there any objections? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, let it be known by your voice. Vote, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. Hale.
Aye.
Sykes, aye. Ms. Harrison.
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson.
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson.
Aye.
All right. Thank you so much. Let the record reflect unanimous approval according to the board members present on tonight. All right. Thank you so much. Let us prepare now to go into our mission statement. If we would pull that up, we have our mission statement read this evening. Right, and everybody read. Let us read together our mission statement. The mission of Wellman City School District is to create a highly effective education system which efforts highest quality
Education.
employees
And parents work together to prepare students to become caring and
provide education as a lifelong process. Thank you all so very, very much. Now we have our thoughts for the evening, and Mrs. Jenkins is not present with us tonight because of some things that are going on with her personally, and we hope that all of us will keep Ms. Jenkins in our thoughts and in our prayers as she deals with this situation. So I will ask if any board member has a thought they would like to share with us for the evening. All right, if not, guess I have to always be ready. So I'll give the thought for the evening, and this is a thought from Winston Churchill, and the thought is this: success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And I hope all of us will take that thought for the evening and understand and Weldon, we have successes, we have failures, but the thing that keep Weldon going and keep us charging forward is we have the courage to remain steadfast and unmovable, and we continue to move forward. Thank you so very, very much. All right, we'll move forward tonight and we'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes from our June 22nd board meeting. Did everyone receive that minutes?
Make a motion to approve minutes from June 22nd.
Second.
Thank you so much. Motion has been moved and properly seconded that we approve our open session minutes from our June 22nd, 2021 board meeting. You heard that motion. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
A. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Hale? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Let the record reflect unanimous approval of our minutes from our stated meeting. At this time, we will go into our reports, and we will ask our superintendent, Dr. Myrick, if he will give us his report at this time.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Sykes,
Good evening, sir.
board members, principals, district staff, students, parents, and our community who's listening to us this evening on live stream. We are committed to leading, teaching, and learning with high expectations every day. Since starting July 1st, I have been listening and learning. I have met individually with board members, principals, and district leaders. Using the town hall meeting style, I will expand my listening and learning to other district staff, students, parents, and community leaders over the next couple of weeks. These meetings allow me to gain multiple perspectives on the district's strengths and areas of improvement. Due to the number of vacancies, I am continuing to build the district leadership team. To ensure the safety of our students and staff, we closed the summer extension program in preparation for Tropical Storm Elsa. By law, we must make up that day. Therefore, the last day of the program will be next Friday, July 23rd, 2021, which will serve as the makeup day. Staff and families were notified of this change earlier this week. The first day of school for students is August the 11th, and we are looking forward to seeing all of those smiling faces safely returning to our campuses. The pandemic has been difficult, but our students are resilient and ready to return to school. If you do not believe me, stop by our schools and see the excitement in the eyes of our students as they go about their day during the summer programs. To keep everyone safe, we will host floating open houses to avoid everyone gathering at once. Weldon Elementary Global and Weldon Middle School will host families on August 4th from noon until 7 p.m. And Arbeck and Weldon STEM High School will host families on August the 9th from noon until 7 p.m. New teacher orientation starts Monday, July the 26th. The district convocation is August the 4th starting at 9 a.m. and it will be a virtual event again this year. Each board member has a copy of the school. Each board member will receive a copy of the school's back to school schedule of events and also a copy of the 21st Century Summer Program update flyer. And I will say that we are excited to announce that the student showcase will be on July 22nd from 5 until 7 for our 21st century students. Again, we are committed to leading, teaching, and learning with high expectations every day. Mr. Chair, this concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you so much, Larry. Any board member have a question? Right, hearing none, moving forward. Let me give a report tonight to our community. Our board already knows this, our staff, our parents, and our students. We want you to know that our newly elected superintendent, he has hit the ground running. He has a lot of vigor, he has a lot of enthusiasm, and he has been doing his very best, as he said, to meet with us, the board members in the district, and he has been going through this district, meeting with staff and our teachers and administrators, and we thank them so much for that. To our community, please know that Dr. Mowry will be showing more of himself in this community. So if you have not seen him, please don't give up because he's making his rounds. I'll say that he's definitely making his rounds. Also, we want to share with the community tonight that this board, we have taken care of all the business, and Dr. Mowry has taken the oath of office. All paperwork has been signed, even though you did not see that formally. We are preparing to do a formal initiation of office, or them taking the oath of office that everybody can see, and actually have a floating reception. And that date is going to be mentioned. It's coming up soon in our district. We're trying to work out the final things with our calendars, and we're going to make sure that the district announcement goes out, and that all of our staff and our families, all of our stakeholders, they receive this information. So be on the lookout for the information as it will be coming forward. Also, let me begin this new school year, this 2021 and 2022 school year, put a little different flavor when I have the opportunity to give a report. I want to say to all of our staff, all of our teachers, administrators, and students, this board, we want to certainly wish all of you a very happy birthday. If you were born in the month of July, we want to wish you a happy birthday. It will be my plan each meeting that we have during the month that we will just mention that, just to let you know we may not be able to touch all of you individually, but we certainly want you to have a good birthday. And we certainly appreciate the work that you do here in Weldon City Schools. Also, last but certainly not least, as we prepare to come back to school in August, please let us all come with our minds ready to learn, ready to be re-engaged and involved in our school year as our students will come back to school. Our students are our most precious asset, and we want to be very, very serious. We are very serious about education and making sure that our students have what they need in Weldon City Schools. I want to take this time also to thank all of our board members for their continued investment and their continued support to make sure that Weldon City Schools move progressively forward. Thank you so much for your attention and your listening here this evening. All right, we will move forward with our school health, and I think Dr. Myra is going to be back in discussion for us.
I'm going to invite Nurse Madison, if she will, to come to the podium to share with us this evening. I've asked our school nurse to provide us with some updates as it relates to COVID, because I know we will be having a return to school discussion tonight, and I thought that the information that she shares will be very helpful. She's not going to go over everything that's in the presentation tonight. She added some links and she's given some reference points that you will be able to reference on your own and scroll through. So at this time, I will turn it over to her.
Thank you. Good evening, board. How are you? Again, like he said, it's a long PowerPoint presentation, and I asked to give you guys a refresher, so I felt like I needed to give you guys more information than I'm going to stand up here and read to you tonight. At the end of each slide, at the bottom, there is a reference link or a reference to a link that is at the very end of the PowerPoint presentation. So if you have questions or you need more information, if you click on those links at the bottom, it will take you to the document where that information was taken from. Can you go back to the very first, the second one for me? Yeah, right. Nope, you already passed it. Yes, and it's so small. Oh my goodness. Please help. That's very far. Nope, way too far away.
Right there as well.
Right there beside.
Oh, good. Okay, now I can see that one. That one's just too far away. Sorry. Okay, so he asked me to give you an update of where we are right now. So what I did is broke that down into the North Carolina metrics, and then I broke it down into Halifax County. On all the state levels, they do it by county, not by our school district. So I really don't have that information. But as far as the North Carolina metrics go, we are trending down and in the right direction. As of July 14th, there were 995 newly reported cases. 487 patients are hospitalized in our state. We've had a total of 13,512 deaths here in our state. 59% of our population has had at least one vaccine, and 56% are fully vaccinated. So we are going in the right direction. I think that's going to be very helpful to us in the school year. Okay, next slide for me. So as far as Halifax County, which Weldon City schools fall into, 22 new cases from June 30th to July 13th. That is not a tremendous number. That's a very small percentage. So again, we are trending down in the right direction. 9 hospitalizations, 114 COVID-related deaths, 20,759, which is 42% of our Halifax population has been vaccinated by at least one vaccine, and then 39% of our population has been fully vaccinated. Now that's under the state average. We would love to do some promoting and get our staff and our community vaccinated if they wanted to have that done. So anything we can do as a district to promote that, that is a good thing. Okay, next slide for me. So the ABC Collaborative is, the ABC Science Collaborative is one of the go-to places to get information from the school district. And basically what this report said was, one, we're trending in the right direction. There's been very little evidence in the studies to show that transmission is occurring in the schools between students or that staff is becoming infected from students. The estimated secondary attack rate is less than 1%. That's a really low number. And so we just need to be aware of that going into the new school year, is that we are in a safe environment, and Weldon City Schools has done a really good job of making sure that we have all the PPE and education that we could give out to everybody. And we just need to make sure that we keep doing that, and that we make sure there's no false rumors or hype from people because it's just not substantiated. I mean, we've been dealing with this for almost 18 months now, and the studies are starting to come in and they are showing that schools are a safe place for kids. So I'm really glad to hear that our kids are coming back, and Shaman and I, as our health services staff, will do everything we can do to continue to support that mission and make sure that our staff stay safe and that our kids stay safe. We are available if you have questions or you need information related to any of that. Please reach out to either one of us. We are happy to be on board and promote the kids coming back. Okay, you can go up some. I pretty much summarized the ABC Collaborative, so you can kind of go to the end of that one for me. Again, the ABC Collaborative link is at the very last reference slide, so if you guys need more information, let me know. Also in the NC Strong School Toolkit, we are required to come back and have people situated at least 3 feet. The recommendation is still 6 feet. So if we can accommodate that, that's the best thing out there. But basically studies are showing if everybody is masked correctly, that whether you do 3 feet or 6 feet is not making a difference in the outcome. So I think that's really important for us to know that masking is the biggest thing that we can do to protect each other and protect our students more so than distance. The studies, like, again, have come out and they're just not showing anything different than masks are where it's at. And distance, if we can do it, is great, but it's not making a difference in the outcome when they look at all the schools that did 6 feet versus 3 feet versus 1 foot. It's just not there. As long as they're masked, that is what is providing the greatest amount of protection for our staff and our students. One of the other things that Dr. Myrick asked me to address was the band, chorus, extracurricular activities that our students are doing. That's where the risk is going to start coming up a tiny bit. And we need to make sure whenever possible that, again, our students are wearing masks. But we can also do things such as letting our kids practice outside, practicing in the largest rooms available in each school where you can separate the kids out 6 feet or more. I gave you some links for that as well. The Association of Bandmasters here in North Carolina basically got together as an association and have put together a pretty substantial recommendation list on what the studies are showing and what our students need to do or what our faculty needs to do to ensure that our students can participate in band, can participate in singing or theater or whatever the school is going to offer for them this year. There is a safe way to do that. So we just need to be proactive and make sure we have things in place to ensure that our students understand we are going to give them the opportunity to participate, but here are the guidelines that we need to follow to make sure that that happens and that they are able to participate. School buses is another thing. The data show no difference in secondary transmission between school districts that offered 1, 2, or 3 students per seat. So they're saying to load those buses up like we did prior to the pandemic. Masks, of course, have to be in place, but they are not seeing any differences in whether you put the students in at 1, 2, or 3. So that's, I'm not sure what the plan is for transportation going back, but those are the recommendations that if we wanted to put full buses back on the road, we can do that safely. Athletics, although safe in North Carolina schools this past year, likely has a higher secondary rate than the classroom. And again, that's because the kids are running and they are exercising, they're breathing heavier as they start to condition, because they haven't been able to do a lot of that. Coughing is one of the side effects of overexertion. And so there's where your risk is gonna come up a little bit. So just making sure that the kids can remain at a safe distance. 6 feet is best if we can do that. But outdoors, they're at higher risk, but we need to move forward with reintegrating that into our school system and get the kids back to as much of a normal life as we can at the school district. Okay, you can go up a little bit. Okay, proper masking is the most effective mitigation strategy to prevent the transmission in schools. Full in-person instruction is appropriate for all grades, all schools when masking is in place, and there is not a medical reason to provide Plan B or fully remote instruction if masking is provided. And again, full capacity transportation is appropriate with up to 3 masked students per bus seat. Go up a little bit more for me. Right there, that's good. Current quarantine guidelines have resulted in more than 40,000 students and staff being quarantined. Over 100 people were quarantined for every within school infection. Due to the low transmission rate, an estimated secondary attack rate of 1 is at 1%. And in order to promote in-person education, the state should consider eliminating quarantine for those appropriately masked or vaccinated. They are not requiring students that are 12 and older that have had 2 vaccines do not need to be eliminated from school if they had both vaccines and they have had a secondary exposure. So that is something that is new from last year. Okay, you can go. Yeah, you can keep going. You can bypass all of that. Each of these slides has a page number for you as well as you're looking at them later on, so you'll know exactly where to go in the link, because it's like 26 pages long. So I tried to put the information by page number for you guys. Keep going, we're not in Plan B. I listed out all of the recommendations and all of the requirements that are currently in the North Carolina Toolkit. There is going to be an update to all of this at the end of the month. So hopefully we'll have that before we come back to school the beginning of August, so that we can kind of come together as a group and figure out if we need to implement anything new or take anything away. Basically, there's not been a lot of changes since we left school in May. But they are still crunching numbers and looking at evidence and research and trying to figure what is our best path forward as a state and as school systems to ensure the safety of our staff and our kids. So all that information is there, broken out by page number. One new thing that is coming out is the ability for us to get a grant to do in-school testing of our students and staff. If that is something that the board wants to explore. They have done some preliminary testing during the summer, during some of the summer programs that have the staff available to do that, and it has worked out really well in providing an extra layer of protection for the students. So I sent Dr. Meyer some links today. I believe the application for that just came available today. So it would give the school money for some different things, for staffing if you wanted to hire some temporary staffing, We can have outside agencies do some of our testing. But again, it would allow us to test in bulk when we come back from big gatherings. So like Labor Day is coming, and that's a big time for people to get together and probably be more exposed than they would during a non-holiday time. So it just gives us some opportunities to test after Thanksgiving, after Christmas, after some of our big breaks. So that is something that we would like for you guys to consider and look at the possibility of maybe testing our students and our staff at different times. But again, that all just came out today, and we are meeting on Tuesday, and I think that's one of our topics to kind of look at that and how that would look here at the school, and maybe move forward from there at the board meeting next month, and maybe have some more data-driven stuff to give to you guys to make an informed decision on whether that's something we want to do as a school system or not. Do you guys have any questions for me? Okay.
Nurse Madison.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second, Ms. Kay Robinson. Ms. L was starting the question.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the information you provided. But was, did you take the place about this Delta variant? Was that in this consideration? Because,
That may show up at the end of this month. I know that they are looking at that, but there have been no changes related to that Delta variant in the NC tool kit as of today.
last night,
Well, they were talking a lot about it. It's definitely out there, but I don't know if they've actually got enough information yet to say we need to do something different or change something different. I'm expecting something to come out on that because they're thinking that may hit us harder in the fall, which is going to put us September probably up into December timeframe where we may see something ramp up and we may have to scale back. But they haven't put any guidance out related to that at this time. I will keep my eyes out for that and make sure if I see something that's directly going to impact us here, that we get that information to Dr. Myrick and back out to you guys.
Ms. Kay Robinson?
Yes, Nurse Madison, thank you very much for all of your information you presented this evening. My question is, can you make sure that we get this information? It's not attached to our information we receive for this meeting. It can be emailed to us, but we would like to receive it, please.
Dr. Myrick will make sure that you got that. He's got the PowerPoint presentation and all of your emails. So he said he would get that out to you guys.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And if you have any questions after you guys have reviewed it, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm available to answer any questions or concerns that you guys have as you go through it.
Thank you very much.
Just to note from Ms. Robinson that the PowerPoint is posted on Assembly. I'm looking at it right now. It's
It
on.
must have been just a poster. It wasn't up there earlier. Thank you.
It's there now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Going there, 2, C. Return to discussion.
Yes, I believe at the last board meeting, one of the board members asked about whether or not the students will be coming back to school full in person, everyone, or if there will be a blend, a hybrid method as was done towards the end of last school year. So from the standpoint of the board, just kind of want to get your thoughts on how you would like to proceed. We all know that the best place for our students to be is in the buildings. I have met with the principals, and each principal has said individually and collectively that they want to see all of their students back in school face to face with their teachers, because we all know how difficult it was with teachers teaching students virtually, as well as teaching those students that were in the classrooms in front of them.
Well, I'll start the conversation. I would like for our students to have the in-person learning, but I also understand that some students and even some parents, I mean, whatever their comfort level is, I totally understand the fact that trying to have our students on hybrid or on virtually, it poses a problem sometimes, because this is a tier 1 county, you know, the broadband is limited in certain areas, things of that nature. And we have to consider all of that. You know, I would love to have 100% of our students back in the building. But at the same time, I know that some may not, you know, have that comfort level to come back. So I think more of our students will probably come back, you know, starting the school year. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I think we probably would be in our best interest to provide both. I know it's a little taxing on our teachers, and I'm concerned about that as well. But I don't see any other person. I don't see, you know, alternative that we would have, because I do know that some parents are going to say, you know, they want their children to come back, and even some of the students, they're ready to come back. But at the same time, you're going to have a certain sect, a certain group of parents and students that they just may not have that comfort level. And I think whatever we can do as this board would be advantageous for us, but at the same time, you know, I think I would want to see the students, parents and students both, that they have that choice, you know, moving forward into the, you know, we go from that. That's just me. I will thoughts on that. Chime in right now. We talk about this because August is around the corner, and we're going to, you know, have to make sure as a board that we're ready to handle this either way it goes. And certainly, Dr. Byron will have clear direction from us, which I think he's already given input from our administrators. You know, they want to see students back, but also the learning disadvantage at this point that our students face because of, you know, the remote learning situation. And but I don't think we can just eliminate that completely. I think it would be in our best interest to still offer that option and to see how many, you know, students will come in. And I know the last time that we actually approved this in board members, you can remember, you know, we did 2 surveys, I think it was, you know, on whether the parents and the students, you know, want to come back or not. And it was, you know, the majority of the parents that they were saying they wanted their students to remain virtually. And I don't know if it is too late to try to put some fillers out there to get a, you know, quick response, especially after you talk to our administrators, you know, principals and all. I don't know where we would be to, you know, kind of gauge it, get a survey, because we made clear this decision last time based upon the data that was presented to us on surveys. That was the direction we took, you know, at the recommendation and the behest of the parents that it was not comfortable. So that's me.
Reverend Sykes, may I just chime in briefly on a legal point? Just to build on what you just said. I mean, I think a lot of what you said is still required by the toolkit. And the toolkit's not very specific. It does give you some local discretion. It does say that schools should return to in-person instruction to the fullest extent possible, up to 5 days a week. So it gives you a little wiggle room there. It doesn't say absolutely 100% all students all the time, but there's clearly that preference and that expectation. But there's also a requirement in the toolkit that schools have to, and I'm going to quote here, schools must implement remote or other learning options for students whose families decide the student needs to remain at home because the student and or family members are at high risk from COVID-19. So it's not just, that doesn't mean anyone who's just at all concerned about COVID has a right to do some sort of remote instruction. But if the family self-identify as high risk in the family, either the student or someone they live with, then you have to offer them some other option where they don't have to come to the building. Doesn't have to be remote learning necessarily. Could be some sort of take-home work or something you build or create for them. But we still have that requirement that you got kind of have two options of some sort. Now that may change. I think in the previous presentation, we heard the new toolkit's coming out soon. And we just heard recently from attorney for DHHS that should be July 19 is the date we expect that to come out. So everyone's waiting to see what the new toolkit says and these requirements. But for now, I think you should assume you got to have some plan for students who self-identify within the family, someone's at high risk and they're not comfortable coming back to school.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Personally, I think as much as possible, we should have person-to-person instruction. The virtual may have worked for a few kids, but a lot of the students didn't know sign in, didn't come on, and it was just difficult. I don't know the good way to say this. You had cases sometimes when no parent was there with the child. No one made sure the child got online. And I think they just became comfortable with not having to get up and catch the school bus and get the kid to school on time. I know Mr. Remus just said that the exception to that. Now, I'm all with that. But other than that, I think the kids should be required in school. I said kid, scholars should, I think scholars should be required to come. It's a better learning environment. They get social skills, they're learning to relate to each other. And it's all a part of growing up. And they're not getting that at home by themselves. They might be there with a sister or brother, that might be something, but that outside communication with others, I just don't think we can make up for it. And we have lost already about 18 months. And as I said before, some of the scholars never signed on. Parents, assist them with their help that the students should be doing themselves, so the teachers can make a true evaluation of where they are. But it's kind of hard to do that when you got the parents doing the work. And probably sometimes, if you grade both of them, and neither one will have a score too good. So I just think it's going to be person best, unless we had to extenuate circumstances.
Mr. Chair?
That's K. Robinson.
Yes.
Okay. I'll come back. Go right here.
I am one of those parents who I am at risk, but my child is returning to school next month, or I'm going crazy. But but we have some protocols at home that he will have to follow and that I will have to follow. I agree that we need to follow what's in the toolkit, but it needs to be documented that they are at risk and that there are others in the house that are at risk. We need to make sure we have that documentation, because the best learning is face-to-face, most definitely.
I was just gonna say, I agree with that face-to-face, person-to-person, because I miss the kids from being here, because I love coming back and seeing the kids. So yes, I would love to see that happen face-to-face.
And I think the consensus is, we would like to see our students, back as much as possible with face-to-face learning. And all of us know that we cannot grow, we cannot develop, we cannot excel in isolation. It's indicative that all of us socialize together because we glean from each other. And I'm in favor with us having, in-person learning. And at the same time, I want to be, as I said before, I want to be respectful to the parents and the students' choice. But as Attorney Rainey alluded to, I think if we can keep, or that option will remain open, that we have to offer, I think we will be all right. And as we said before, when we actually did the survey, if Dr. Myrick, I think it would help us gauge it even better if we could have our parents to actually, let our district know, whatever we can generate to do that, to let our district know of their intent for, the child to actually return to in-person learning. And I think that would really help us, between now and maybe the first week in August, or definitely between now and the end of this month, to just, look at the picture of how many students are actually planning to come back in person, and not utilize that second option. I think that would help us better, understand where our community is as far as their students, their children, our students, their students, our children, our scholars, our group say, coming back. I really think that would give us a clear pathway to what we're trying to get to in this respect.
Mr. Sykes?
Yes, it's Greg Robinson.
We definitely have to offer that to parents because, as all of you all have said, parents are just not comfortable, but they definitely need to have that option of whether their child is going to continue in virtual. So that's something that we need to move on expeditiously. I heard you say, Reverend Sykes, that we need to survey the parents. If that has not been done, Dr. Myrick, then that's certainly something we need to look at within the next, at least next week, so that we can get those numbers, so that we can go ahead and prepare, because our students will be back very soon. And we want to make sure that we have everything in place for them. So definitely, I'm definitely in favor of face-to-face instruction, but at the same time, we need to make sure that that the parents are comfortable with doing that.
I mean, board members, all of us understand, the state, basically, we were one of 5 or 6 districts last school year that the state had under the microscope because we had not offered any type of in-person instruction. So we know that we have to have that in-person instruction, but also, as it has been stated, providing that other choice. We know that. But at the same time, I think it's really going to help us as a board if we can have that community buy-in, that they actually let us know, yes, we're planning to send our students back. That just better helps us know what the space, how many students we're going to be working with, staff. That just helps us on our end. So if anybody comes back later, we will have some background to substantiate, our decision as the board to say yes, face to face, and any other thing to move on with. So. Oh yeah.
We're about to start something like this on the 11th. So something is good. And I feel like Mr. Robinson said, not 2000 next week we will find out.
Well, I mean, we really don't have a choice. I mean, so we just. Yeah, exactly.
See that child at school, face-to-face approach, so they feel comfortable. It's all about them.
And again, it's going to help us show.
That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I agree with that, but I think it would be a big, in each.
Right.
Look, I mean, sometimes you just can't get it.
Right.
So,
We will have a survey out to the parents early next week.
All right.
Dr. Myrick,
Yes.
can you add to that another caveat that we may ask the parents what would make them comfortable or more comfortable to return their children to school? Please. Could we maybe able to make accommodations that will increase our student enrollment and coming back face to face?
Strong point, Ms. K. Robinson. Strong
Thank
point. All right. Any other comments first?
Yes, sir, Ms. Sykes. I don't know if it could be put in, how you could word it, but I think something need to be in there about the certain situation. Like Ms. Kim Robinson said, she had a certain situation that how those parents to list, you know, if they have a reason, do they have
Right.
at-risk situation with someone in the home? You know, other than, I just don't want my kid to go back.
Right.
To me, that don't carry weight. But have them to put up there if they have an at-risk situation in the home.
Mhm. I agree.
We'd be happy to work with Dr. Myrick on that. I think we've done some similar work for other school districts, so we might have some forms and templates we could offer, some samples, and make sure everything's legally compliant.
Right. So we don't really think it's gonna violate any. Yeah. So-
Right.
Definitely. And I'm not against, you know, what you say, Mr. Lee. I think us doing this is just going to build a stronger case for administration with Dr. Myrick and this board, you know, as we move forward. I really believe that's going to do that for us.
what we possibly, I was thinking about, when we first started talking about parents, out there to on rotation.
According to what Attorney Raymond did. You
That's-
can't do
That's a
this
little more
without
problematic
rotation.
now.
So,
Yeah.
we passed that.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in person to the maximum extent possible, up to
Right.
5 days a week. So I think some districts have built, at least last year, I don't know if anyone's talking about doing it next year, built in some like one remote day where you do extra cleaning and sanitation in the school type thing. But that's at most, I think you could push things under the current toolkit. Again, toolkit may change on July 19th. So
Right.
we may have to have this conversation again next month, but for now, yeah, you have to be in person to the maximum extent possible, except for people who have someone high risk in the family.
Any other question or comment?
Just for a point of clarification with
Yes,
the
sir.
survey, we do want an anonymous survey, or we asking the parents to identify themselves?
Yes.
So
it's
anonymous,
only
okay.
anonymous. That's what we did last time.
Okay.
And I think all of the points can be included with what Ms. K. Robinson and Mr. Williams, and I think Bird Robinson too. I think all of those points can be inclusive and it can still remain, you know, anonymous. And basically, it'll be a percentage pool that maybe 75% and then 25% say they have circumstances that, you know, prevent that.
But if we're asking families the reason why they don't, or what can we do to accommodate them, we're gonna have to have something up there so that they can identify.
Right. And
Because
if
if not, then we're not gonna know who we need to accommodate. So I think they can remain anonymous, but at the same time, we need to have something up there that will let the parents know that, you know, if there's a certain situation that, you know, reason why you don't want to have your child come back to school, then they can identify.
Well, I think Ms. Bird Robinson, as Attorney Raymond said, that, you know, there's some templates that can be used and we can list some things as, you know, or as they don't feel comfortable, high risk at the home, a child is high risk, and they could actually check that and still be anonymous.
Right, and maybe have a separate form
Right.
if you're actually requesting that your child be allowed to have accommodations to not be in school. That's a separate form you have to sign, and we're going to talk to you about it. You know, that
And
would
I'm
be,
fine with
a
that.
survey could be anonymous.
Right.
That's fine. We just got to put something out there so that they can, identify, so that we'll know who or what situation we need to make sure we accommodate.
And I think at this point, with our legal counsel and Dr. Amari, that they can work that language out, and we can still be compliant and not violate HIPAA, and also give some choices, as far as special circumstances, or we could list 3 or 4 circumstances and they could check, and we can still be anonymous and still get the same information. And if Attorney Ranger said, if there is a person or persons that need to give that specification, they can do that, and the person will sign and all of that anyway. So I think at this point, we've kind of given Dr. Myrick the directive that we feel that, and that goes out next week, so we can know what we're working with, and our legal counsel, Attorney Ranger, they will draft and get everything going from that. But we'll leave it with the consensus tonight that we're looking forward to our students
Get that.
being in person, and if there are circumstances that will prevent that, we'll know what we're looking for. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question or comment on that?
So. Is that happening? Everybody can go back. We need some mind.
Except for those that self-identify as high risk, someone in their household is at high risk, then we have to have some alternative for them in the current toolkit. And so the plan, as I understand it, is survey all of your families anonymously to see, or do they have concerns? Do they have suggestions and things that would make them feel more at ease? Are they going to ask for accommodations? Why? Just so you can anonymously gather some information, get a sense of what you're dealing with and family preferences. And then separately, we'll have a form that we'll work with Dr. Myrick on to actually request that accommodation to not return to school. And that would be signed in something that would be a confidential record of each student.
Right.
How long will this be in place?
I think you have to kind of play it by ear at this point. I hate to say, but new toolkit coming out in a week or so. Who knows what'll happen with the executive orders or CDC guidance. So I think that is, you just have to play it by ear and say, this is what we're doing for now. And the state may change the rules on you any day.
And I think along with what you're saying, now, we probably would say, I'm just giving this off the cuff. We could possibly say from start of school until all break. I'm just using that as an example. That they would be virtual, and then if circumstances change after fall break, they come back for the rest of November and December, or it could be from August to December, and then circumstances change, come back in January. According to what the attorney is saying to us tonight, the ball is in our court. We have different options that we could give, but after we get these numbers, I think we could better craft, and Dr. Myrick himself, he may have some recommendation, okay, the first 6 weeks, the first 9 weeks, or, the entire semester. I think we can kind of go from there.
We will probably also get some guidance in the toolkit that's coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the 19th.
Right. So right now, we're basically playing everything out here, and it's to our advantage. Even if it remains the same after the 19th, it's still going to be to our advantage that we get these numbers, so we can kind of put some things in place on how they, the time they stay virtual, as you said, the circumstances change. But they come back, they're going to be in person, because we want our students to be in person as many as possible. I think we got what we need tonight, and going forward with that. Everybody good?
Yes.
Online, you all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll move forward into 11B on the reports, our building and grounds report.
No report tonight.
No report tonight, all right. Okay, we'll go to letter E under our reports, our monthly financials for the month of June.
Good evening.
Mhm.
Superintendent Dr. Merritt, Board Chair, Reverend Sykes, and board members, I would like to present to you your monthly financial statements for the month of June, starting with local fund 8. Our beginning revenue was $1,016,902.55. Total deposit for the month of June was $176,961.94, bringing our year-to-date total as of June 30th, 2021 to $1,193,864.49. Our beginning expenditures was $906,574.77. Our total expenditures for the month was $11,647.79, bringing our year-to-date total to $918,222.56, giving us a net result for the year as of June 30th, 2021 of $275,641.93, bringing our unobligated fund balance to $656,507.80. Current expense, our beginning revenues is $2,127,953.49. Total deposit for the month of June was $75,276.41, bringing a year-to-date total to $2,203,229.90. Our beginning expenditures is $1,533,052.47. Total expenditures for the month of June was $68,969.10, bringing our year-to-date total to $1,602,021.57, giving us a net result for the year as of June 30th of $601,208.33, bringing our unobligated fund balance as of June 30th, $1,371,495.33.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes, sir.
will you move forward with contracted services and the rentals? I know it's under expenditures. They are not credits, correct?
They are credits, yes, sir. Up on the contracted service, we have a credit there because this is the last financial statement for the school year. Anytime you have outstanding invoices that money is due back in, you have to post it as receivables. And as you remember, we have a contract with the Department of Public Instruction Child Nutrition Program. So I had some outstanding invoices. So that gave us that credit there.
Okay. And with our rentals?
And with the rentals, I had some funds in state that was going to revert back. So keep it from reverting back to state. I refunded our what we paid for things in rental in our local budget to give us a credit there. So we put money back into local.
Okay. All right.
Capital outlay, beginning revenues, $311,292.32. Total deposit for the month is $61.99, bringing our year-to-date total to $311,354. Our beginning expenditure is $150,192.35. Total expenditures for the month was $13,009.08, bringing year-to-date total to $163,201.43, giving us a net result for the year as of June 30th of $148,000. Balance to $602,532.88.
Capital, same thing here. Non-capitalized equipment, what is that?
That was a refund again, where we had state funds and I had spent some funds in capital outlay and I was able to refund it back.
Ms. Campbell, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What type of software did we buy for $13,000?
It may have been like some software renewal
Okay.
current school year, and I had funds to go ahead and pay for it so that we wouldn't be charged a late fee or anything like that. So I went on and took care of the expense.
Okay,
But I would double check and send you an email just to re-verify.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Send us all that email, Ms. Campbell.
I will, sir.
Thank you.
Let me make that note. Check software.
And Ms. Campbell, if you would, if it was not for the software, if it was not just for one item, would you break it down if there were multiple items? Because I know
I can send you a copy of what we actually spent. Yes, sir. I can scan the document and send it as a PDF.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Child nutrition, beginning revenue is $527,793.77. Total deposit for the month is $37,297.90. Bring your year-to-date total to $565,091.67. Beginning expenditures is $514,276. Total expenditure for the month was $35,644.52. Bring your year-to-date total to $549,920.52, giving a net result for the year as of June 30 of $15,171.15. Bring the unobligated fund balance as of June 30th to $278,177.15.
Campbell,
Sir?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't hear what you asked.
Oh, excuse me.
I still didn't hear you, Reverend Sykes.
Oh, okay. Your mic, I think, was going in and out. I was trying to hear you as well.
Okay, let me try it this way. I took it off. Let me try it now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Normally, our child nutrition is sometimes run in the red, and it's no fault of our own. So my question is that all of the funds that were supposed to be refunded or turned in as far as child nutrition is concerned, did we get all of that before our school year ended? Does this report reflect all of that? Or are we
There is one more expenditure that came in this week, and I did a journal entry on it, so it will be during the time of the audit.
Okay.
Yes. But other than that, everything else came in.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions for our finance officer? Our local expense, our current expense, our capital outlay, or our child nutrition? No. All right. Online, anybody? Any questions?
No.
All right, thank you so much. We're moving forward now to our amendments. Hopefully, all of our board members receive the amendments. Ms. Campbell, do you want to say anything about those amendments, or you just want me to call them out?
The amendments this evening that is before you for approval are our closeout amendments for the 2020-21 school year. As part of our closeout process, state amendment number 42, these amendments were not able to be in our June board package because I'm still having some internet connection issues. Can you hear me, Reverend Sykes?
I do now. Your mic is-
Okay, I'm having some internet issues tonight for some reason. These 4 amendments were not able to be included into our board package, as I stated earlier, because it's part of our year-end closeout process that we cannot close any budgets with a negative overall balance. So the state amendment is for the non-contributive benefits where we have to pay off with staff leave, we have to pay their annual leave off, or their longevity, or if they have miscellaneous leave. That's what State Amendment 42 is for. Federal Amendment number 23 and 24 are amendments that was keyed into our software system that was not approved prior to the board meeting. So we have to wait for the state. They issue us a budget allotment revision. We have to key it into the system the way we want it in our software system. And then we have to wait for the state to do the final approval. And those approvals did not come in until prior to year-end closeout. And the last amendment, local amendment number 19, was just to cover some expenditures. There's no increase or decrease to our local budget.
Which budget did Amendment 19 affect?
It was local of Fund 8 budget 001. And I just moved some expenditures from one PRC to another PRC to cover their expense.
Okay.
And those are the 4 amendments I'm presenting to the board for approval.
Any questions? All right. If we do not have any questions, you said this was not inclusive in the board packet, correct?
Yes, they are in the board package, yes. They wasn't in the June board package.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I thought I saw these amendments fly back.
No, that wasn't in the June board package. And I have spoken with Dr. Merritt. We're planning to get with you to try to figure out a better way to handle the year-end closeout amendments at the end of this school year.
Sounds good. Any other question on the amendment? If not, a motion is in order to approve the amendments that have been stated on the line. Motion has been moved and properly seconded that we approve the said amendment as they have been stated to us tonight. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor of approving said amendment, please let it be known by voice vote. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Hale? Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Jared Robinson? Okay, I think we lost her, and OB sites, aye, that's correct. Unanimous approval by the 5 board members that is currently.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to go now to letter G, under number 5, our reports, our instructional report.
Thank you. Our instructional report tonight consists of the school mental health plan. I believe at a previous board meeting last month, maybe, you approved the agency that we will be working with to provide the school mental health plan. And so tonight we are bringing the school mental health plan to the board for approval as is required by state board policy.
Any questions?
No.
Questions from the board? We received it in our packet. Anybody feel word one or two?
I reviewed it. It looks good.
All right, to, okay, we have any Bird Robinson back now. You know that, right? All right, if we don't have any, questions on our instructional report that we received, a motion would be in order to approve said, plan. Or say, reporting plan, I say that, yes.
I move that we accept the school mental health plan as presented.
Motion has been moved and properly second that we approve the school mental health plan that has been presented to us by Dr. Myrick on tonight. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, please let it be known by your voice vote. Ms. K. Robinson?
Aye.
Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Taylor? Aye. And O.P. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous approval by the 6 board members that are in attendance at our meeting tonight. All right, at this time, item number 6 is for a 2-minute break. Board members, do we need a break, or is everybody fine for us to keep going?
Keep going.
Keep going.
All right, we will proceed. All right, we get to item number 7, public forum. Dr. Myrick, do we have anyone for public forum?
No, sir.
No.
No.
Okay. Oh.
Excuse me.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have signed for the form tonight.
Excuse me?
I have signed papers and presented them to present at the public forum tonight.
Okay. Dr. Myrick, do you have documentation for public forum?
I don't.
Okay. Let me defer to our legal counsel tonight because
Sure.
we have a community person that says that they fill out paperwork for public forum.
I can get it for you.
Dr. Myrick does not have that. I don't know if it got lost in. I don't know. I can't speak to. I just want to know
Right.
where we are.
Well, I would just say, I mean, certainly the board can have, reasonable rules for sign up for and enforce those rules. On the other hand, if it's one person and if the board, wishes to hear from them, you can certainly hear from them whether she signed up or not. I mean, I would, I would leave it to the board's discretion, but if you wish to hear from someone, with some confusion as to whether the sign up was properly submitted, that would be fine.
Okay, all right. Well, I refer to the board, board members, since there's no documentation that our superintendent is presented to us.
I say yes.
I say yes.
Okay, online,
Sure.
all right. So we will, allow that, tonight, as our lawyer said, I want it to be duly noted in our
Yes.
minutes, because I don't think we have anybody else in closed session, so we have one person, Mrs. Brooks. Tonight, this board is saying because we only have one person here for closed session, here for open session, but before that we would allow her to speak. So everybody has consented. I'm going to that. I see
Yes.
4 members, we have consented to that. All right, so we will give way to Mrs. Brooks to come with public comment. You are well aware of our 3-minute time frame. We ask that you would keep your comments within that 3-minute time. You let me know when you're ready. We hit stop.
Before that, I would like to address the board. I have been here since 6 o'clock. I was in the media center, and I'm so glad I took a nap. And Miss Robinson did not make me aware that you all were here, so that's why I'm late. Number 2, I would like to have a copy of the board agendas. I requested that before. I was told there was not one. Ms. Robinson helped. As a member of the public, I don't know what you are having. Number 3, I do have a copy of my form documentations, also Helen Webb and also Geneva Branch in my car, if you would like to have a copy of it. Number 4, Miss Geneva Branch is not here, as I said the last time. She was attending a funeral yesterday. She's 93 years old, but she's well capable. Miss Helen Webb's brother died and the funeral was Tuesday, and that's why they're not here. I do have their letters. If you would like for me to read them, I will so do. If not, you will get a copy. But at any rate, they would like to be heard. I'm waiting for you and your response.
Your time has started, so.
My time has started and I was addressing you as to why I wasn't here, but that was part of my time.
Yes, ma'am, it was, because you went on 1, 2, 3, 4. I said whatever you started, that was going to be.
But I was giving you clarifications as to why I wasn't here when the board when the board began. That was 1. Number 2, I was also giving you clarification as to I have my document in the car that I signed up for your public forum. Number 3.
I have that documentation because the board consented for you to speak.
Please let me know.
And those levels that you want to keep, that's totally up to you. I guess my main thing to say to you tonight is I regret very much that you were not informed to be here at you didn't know when we started the open session because no one came to get you, I regret that very much. But at the same time, you are here in time to give your public comments. So I'm going to refer to you now so you can use your comments.
Good evening. Dr. Ernest Brooks Jr. was a visionary. 24 years ago, just 3 months before his death, he was the employee of the month. And since that time, I don't think I've seen visionaries in Weldon City Schools. He took a stand, he lent a hand, he didn't become an education bully, he practiced unselfish devotion to all. I am also that visionary, that educational leader. We were husband and wife, we had the same vision. Who's for the kids and who's just kidding? Parents need to ask the question and make their vote count when choosing the right school board members who have their best interests at heart. Good afternoon, Dr. Myron, Weldon City Schools Board of Education members. Now that the leader of the system has spent a few days in his new position, I would like to share a few thoughts with you. It looks like we have the same leadership professional challenges. The Northampton, Weldon City, and Halifax systems where the employees like to financially move freely in the education ladder seeking financial security. Why is it that in the past 6 years alone, the test scores have not shown significant growth? The virus is still here, even though it was not as prevalent. I challenge you unanimously to vote to change the broken system. How long are you going to settle for mediocrity as our students aren't learning? Now that each employee at Weldon City Schools have been blessed with $2,500 bonus in June, will you see a drastic change in teaching and learning? It seems as if the virus of COVID-19 ended when the money was awarded. I encourage you, superintendent and board members, to be on one accord while making sure that enrollment in Weldon City Schools begin to climb. Miss Geneva Branch, Brooks Tutoring Educational Support Services provides academic excellence for every child, every day, whatever it takes. Regina Brooks, as director and staff of the program, will be a great access to Weldon City School System and or any other system. Regina is an educator, professional teacher who I have known for over 5 years. She graduated from Winston-Salem State University and East Carolina University. She taught school in Martin County, with Weldon City, Wilson County, Northampton County School System, and Halifax County School System. As a mother, wife, widow, she is an honest, loving, sincere, trustworthy, and treats all individuals she encountered with fairness and respect. She's accountable and reliable and creative, and she resides individually with high quality professional development in support of teaching and learning. She shows professionalism and communicating effectively, demonstrating confidence in her ability, maintaining competence, work collaboratively, and exhibiting leadership with individuals she serves. She believed that excellence is achieved by exceeding expectations, committing to quality through a focus of high standards and continuous improvement. She is a faithful and dedicated member of the First Baptist Church in Weldon, where she was a member of CHARM's Superintendent of Sunday School, which is an organization, CHARM's, of professional and business women for 24 years. She would be in access to any system that hires her. In closing, I retired from Bertie County Schools after 29 years of service as an educator. If you would like to discuss her with me, then feel free to call me. My name is Helen Webb. I attended Weldon Schools. My children went to Weldon. I have a 2-year-old who will attend Weldon soon. Excuse me.
I have to respect that. Ask you to stop.
Thank you.
And 48 seconds. So unless the board is going to be all right with her reading the second letter. All right for her reading the second letter. 4 minutes.
If she wants to, I'm
Yeah, all right.
all right with it.
Okay, all right. Please continue. I just didn't want us to continue going because we said 3 minutes and I know you sit down. I just want to give the
My name is Helen. I attended Weldon Schools. My children went to Weldon. I have a 2-year-old who will attend Weldon soon. I met Ms. Regina Brooks around March 2021. She's a well-educated Christian lady who lives in our community. Ms. Regina helped my grandchildren always ask about their education and health. I know that she offered several middle school boys in the community odd jobs at her house. While working with Ms. Regina, she would mentor them. She would talk to them about school and being good citizens. Miss Regina is not afraid to visit in our community. Some of you just ride by, I guess because you don't think we are important. You have shown us that you only want our vote. We see you come in the building, the central services, make decisions and go home. Have you done what's right for our children? Many of the parents know that you're playing games with yourself, our children and parents. I ask you tonight, number 1, have you earned your position? Number 2, have you earned your pay? Number 3, are you really serious about educating our children? Number 4, what school did your child graduate from? Number 5, do you know God? Thank you, Helen Webb. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brooks. And you have copies of the board that's not here correct.
It's not there, you can make some, there's copies right there, you can count.
I didn't know I needed that. I was
You
just
can
asking.
count them, I don't remember right now.
Okay, all right. So, just want to make sure that our board members online, that they receive the same information that we have at our disposal. Thank you so much. All right. Is it anyone else for public comment, public call? All right, yes, I thank you so very much. All right, we have item number 8 before us now, our consent agenda. And any discussion or any comments concerning our consent agenda? That's correct. As we made an adjustment to our agenda to be inclusive of Roman number 3 under 8B. Any questions on it? All right, hearing none, then a motion would be in order to approve our consent agenda. There's a second. Y'all work out at the same time, so who is what? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. She looks better than I do.
Well, I'm going to take you on your second of approval then. All right, it has been motioned by Ms. Hale and seconded by Mrs. Harrison that we approve our consent agenda for tonight. You heard that motion, seconded. Is there any further discussion on unreadness? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known now by your voice? Vote. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Hale? Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Kay Robinson?
Aye.
O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Harris?
Yes.
All right. Let the record reflect unanimous approval of our consent agenda. 6 board members present tonight. All right. We have now a motion to approve our action from closed session. Do I need to state what that is, or are we all good with that? That matters, all right.
To, close the action, I in closed session.
It will be personnel, right?
Second.
Okay, motion has been moved and properly seconded to approve personnel recommendation recommended to us by our superintendent in closed session. We've heard that motion. Is there any unreadness? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known now by your voice? Vote. Ms. Kay Robinson?
Aye.
Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
O.D. Sykes, aye. Ms. Hale?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
And the record reflect unanimous approval of our closed session or our recommendation from closed session. All right.
Reverend Sykes,
Yes.
do we have one last piece to go on our agenda for HCC?
Yes, we did forget about that, and if you all want to discuss that, I know we failed that. I mean, we do not have a recommendation, and we need to go back and amend our open session agenda to talk about this.
You could, I mean, the board could proceed. I mean, the agenda is not a big concern unless someone makes a motion to enforce the agenda. Then you'd have to decide whether you want to amend it or not. So you could just proceed by consent, unanimous consent. You can do just about anything under Roberts.
Okay.
And I'd forgotten about the item added to the open session agenda as well. That was what again?
It was under
Board appointment.
8B. It was going to be Roman number 21st century field trip.
Oh, yeah, right. That's it. So I would say with, unless there's any objection, I probably should have mentioned that myself. I forgot about that myself. But if the board wants to take action, meeting's still ongoing. You can either amend the agenda to add it retroactively now as a formality, or you can just take action on it with unanimous consent. No one objects. It's fine.
Does anyone object with us? Thank you, Ms. Kay Robinson. We failed to add that. Does anyone object to talking about the letter resignation from our representative on the HCC board? Anybody discussing that now? Before we adjourn. Online, y'all all right with that?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's discuss that very quickly. We have received a letter of resignation from Ms. Betty G. Kobe, that is the person that this board approved to serve as our representative on the HCC Board of Trustees. Her resignation, she did send a tangible copy of the resignation. All of our board members received that copy via email the latter part of last month. Her resignation is effective for August the 1st of this year. And so board members, we certainly need to keep in mind, because we will have to approve a replacement as soon as possible. And I know we're not prepared tonight to vote on a replacement to finish out her tenure. But please know that is definitely something that we must take under consideration during our meeting next month. And that person has to be a resident within the Wellwood City School District. my understanding, that goes to the person representing our school district. So we need to be prepared for that. And also I can say this, that Mr. John Smith, who the three school districts has a hand in that, all three school districts in the county, in appointing that person. We will probably entertain the name possibly next month if all three districts can support that individual person. I don't know if that's a person that you actually have to vote on versus the person that actually comes from well. I know we have to do that person, but just wanted to give us that information tonight so we can be thinking. And I don't know, Attorney, I don't know if it's something that persons of interest have to submit a letter, to the central office for us to look at and then make a formal approval of who have returned. I don't know exactly how we proceed with that, or whatever it is that we need to do. Advise this board and our superintendent, so we can all be together, and when we come in August, we'll be ready to approve someone.
Sure, absolutely. If it's okay, I'll give you a brief overview now, and then we can. So just because I've just gone through this with another school district that had a similar choice to make, and there aren't really any particular legal requirements of how you go about the process, statutory requirements. Robert's rules says the preferred method, you can choose a different method to elect someone to a position, but the preferred method is usually written ballots. So generally what we recommend, and I'd be happy to share with you and Dr. Mark a script and sample ballots that we developed in another district, but typically you have a nomination procedure, nominations from the floor, any board member can nominate any person. Once all the nominations are in, and there's no further nominations, you close the nominations. Then board members complete a written ballot, signed ballot. It's a public record. It's not a secret ballot. That's written. And then we collect them up, and then I would tally and read the vote, or Rod, whoever's covering this meeting. And you need a majority vote to elect someone. So if that can get a little tricky, because if you have, say, 3 people nominated, you would need 4 out of 7 votes. Or if you have 6 people present, you need 4. If you have 5 people present, you need 3, et cetera. You need a majority of those present to elect. So if it splits like 2-2-2, that's not an election. You just have to revote. But that's the Roberts way. That seems to generally work pretty well. As to whether you have an application process, that's entirely up to the board. I've seen in districts, board members come with nominations and just people that they've talked to that they think would be good for the position. But you can also have a more formal process where you solicit applications and you review them. That would take a bit longer, but that's the board's pleasure.
Okay. So hearing that, board members, because this is our nomination, they're going to be represented well. As the lawyer said, our legal counsel said, we can either take it on ourselves and, let people just tell us as board members that we can come to the meeting and nominate them, or we can do something a little more formal and actually have interested persons submit a letter of interest that live within the school district. And I want to say a letter of interest that they, and then we can look at them as board members and decide who we want to or go from that. How do you all want to proceed on that? I mean, August 1st is coming, and we don't want to go a long period of time and not have a trustee in place that represents our school district, because we have students on the campus. We are an LEA partner with HCC, and we certainly have representation from Wellington students on the board of trustees. So how do we want to proceed tonight? I hope we can decide which way we want to proceed tonight. So it will kind of expedite the process. We can decide, if they're going to submit a letter of interest, they can start submitting those letters next week. Or if we just want to come back to the August meeting and try to do some nominations within the, how do you all want to proceed? For us to view and maybe we can come. All right. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I like the idea of people submitting letters. I also like the purpose of board members recommending someone. And I say that because the position is open. probably not many people in Wellness that's aware that such a position exists.
Right.
You know, and so I think overall, would be better served by nominating someone. We could still, do the latter, but I don't think that should be the only source because it's limited communication there.
And I agree with that. I think we can still open it up for people to submit a letter of interest. But when we get those letters of interest, we can still nominate as board. I'm fine with that. Then we go based. Because if it's somebody that we really want to nominate, it could have been somebody that. So I think, Attorney Raymond, would it be something that we could do, that we could actually post that on our website?
Sure.
So somebody can submit a letter of interest.
Sure, I think that's a good idea. Let people know how to go about submitting letter of interest. Also, board members can contact individuals that they think might be interested. Let them know, hey, we're going to be appointing a trustee. If you're interested, send me a letter.
Right.
I mean, that would be, because one thing you want to just be careful of is not coming into the meeting and saying, I want to nominate so-and-so, and then it turns out the person doesn't want the position after they win the election. So you want to make, so I think asking them to submit a letter is a good idea, because then you've got a written record that they'll accept the position if it's offered to them.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have to establish, quote unquote, any criteria other than the fact that they have to live within the city district. So, I mean, with that being said, I think at this number, we do both things. Submit a letter, and we can also nominate. But if, as you said, Attorney, right, those persons that are interested, if we want to nominate, then they need to submit a letter of interest, to us, and we can still nominate. So I think we cover both ways. Or if they submit a letter, directly to central office, and Dr. Myra, be aboard that.
Right.
To us.
And just to clarify one point, you'll still need to have a nomination. So I think that's a great plan. Say we're going to need a letter of interest, nothing formal. We're not asking you to fill out a 20-page application. Just write us a letter saying why you're interested in the position, and then we know you'll accept it if you're voted. Then the board will take all the letters of interest received and then decide who to nominate. And it could be just one person, it could be two, it could be all of them. But we wait and see how many nominations there are and vote on these nominations.
Okay. I think that's a good plan to proceed with. All the board members agree to that. But I would like for us to do this if we could. With May 15th, do you think we could make sure that vacancy is posted tomorrow on the website to submit a letter of interest, and then maybe give the time that they could actually send that letter of interest, that we have a deadline and opens tomorrow, and the letter needs to be submitted by July 31st, and then that will give us time, as a board, to look at what has been received, and hopefully by our August meeting, we'll be prepared to nominate.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I mean, it's nothing that they have to do other than be a resident and well, but it's basically submit that they're interested in the position. Tell us why. They can give us a little something about them with one page would be sufficient, and we go from there.
And to Mr. Williams' point earlier too, it's posting on the website's a good idea, but not everybody in the community is going to check your website. So I think it's also a good idea for board members to talk it up in the community. If you know someone you think would be qualified or interested, talk to them, give them a call.
But yeah, we can have the calling post for the district. We can send a message out on that as well. Do y'all have to put anything in the newspaper, or just our means of communication with the district?
It'll come out like
I'll see for our PIO getting it on our website, as well as sending it out through our social media feeds and our connect calls.
Okay. I think that's really with us talking. I mean, we all go all the way. So to our stakeholders, our public, our community that's listening tonight, that will be a vacancy. August the 1st, for Weldon City Schools to approve someone to fill out the term of our representative on the HGC Board of Trustees. And we are seeking letters of interest. If you are interested, please, sir, please, ma'am, submit a letter of interest to our central office here in Weldon City Schools, or you can make sure that individual board members that receive this information, and we will share it together. So we've done notice it as far as that is concerned tonight, and we still using Dr. Byron said all our outlets, media outlets, to make sure that the message is publicized. All right, board members, thank you so much for that. Is there anything else that will come to our attention tonight?
Guess we have to do field trips. Is that on?
We did
That was our-
in the consent.
Part of the consent agenda.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
That's correct. All right, if not, let me just close by saying this, again, we certainly keep our, fellow board member, Ms. Jenkins, and our, thoughts and our prayers as she continues to, recuperate from the situation that she had, to happen to her. All right. If nothing else tonight, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It has been motioned and properly seconded to adjourn our open session meeting for July 15, 2021. Heard that motion. Is there any unreadiness or further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Only sites aye. Ms. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Kay Robinson,
Aye.
William,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison, Ms. Haley. All right, that the record reflect that we unanimously approved to adjourn by the city board.